what they were doing for the last section of this plan of bringing in, they called the Christ, which is actually the Antichrist. I didn't know that until they showed me.
What do you mean until they? What do you mean until they showed you? How exactly did they show you this, Carolyn?
Well, first of all, they told me I was going to be a Judas to the group. That's what they said. I was going to speak out against them before millions of people and tell about the plan. I could not understand how in the world I'd ever do such a thing like that. So as a little bit of time went on, I realized I realized what they meant by that, because they didn't want me to leave the plan. They tried very hard to very careful with their teaching with me, because they said they knew that they would lose me if they took me too fast. But it got into the higher Luciferic teachings. There's all different types of Luciferic teachings, different levels. And on one level, they make Lucifer the hero, the savior. A lot of people are stuck on that level. And another level, you get to the point where they want you to know who Lucifer is, and they want you to worship him and love him. And when I got to the position where they needed me to know what I was dealing with, I was involved in bringing beings from another realm here that were of Lucifer's hierarchy. I didn't know him as Lucifer at that time, but the top ascended masters.
Well, you actually met this entity as Lucifer in a physical format?
Well, I saw two. I've seen three entities. One that they brought in, that they said was going to be, well, that I helped bring in, but they said he was to be the one to be Christ, which is actually, it's kind of hard to explain. Some people probably understand what I'm talking about. When I mention avatar, it's actually a possession that takes place of a human being.
So they brought in the being who was not with this avatar as of yet.
Yeah, but had been chosen for that. He was not the highest ranking one in Lucifer's hierarchy.
What did he look like?
He was very handsome. They're all very handsome. He looked like kind of Mediterranean looking. He had kind of grayish, bluish eyes. He would appear to be, at that time, it would have been, probably looks around in his early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes to look like that. He chose the way he would look. And his birth date, interesting enough, I looked at it is like an occult date. It was October 11th, and I think it was in '84. So those were kind of occult dates too. I didn't recognize it at the time, but I looked back later, and that's an interesting date. But that's one being.
Okay, and these beings, what happened to them? How come they're not on the world stage as of now to take over for this Antichrist scenario?
That's a good question. I don't know. Some of them may be just influencing others. Some of them, the plan was that they originally were going to be walk-ins, that they were going to, okay, I'm telling a story as they told me. It could be, this part could be a lie. What I was told was that they were going to work through human beings, be walk-ins, like possessing them. And then they changed their mind. They wanted to possess their own bodies. So when I left the organization, we were actually creating physical bodies for these beings to walk around in, so that they could manifest themselves on this physical plane for longer periods of time, and that they could transport themselves without jets. I can't really remember the term for that, but so I don't know if this person is going to show up. And I don't know how that's going to work, but I think the important point is, what's the most real thing that ever happened to me in all this, that is the turning point for me, is that I had to stand face to face with a being that they called the most illumined of all. If anybody on the face of this earth experienced what I did, they would have no doubt whatsoever that there is an Antichrist.
Well, tell me about that. Tell me a story. Your face-to-face encounter with this Antichrist.
Okay, this was a light. This was a being that was stories and stories tall. He was just brilliantly white light. He was just the presence of him was of complete love and beauty and just everything wonderful. I felt like it was Jesus Christ.